GetCrack. Wake up, motherfucker.
Yo, what's up? It's March 4th, 2026. Okay, let's go. Let's see what's up. I think we got a nice bounce here from yesterday. So let's see what's going on. Let's see how we're going on so far. So you see here with MSTR and Palantir. Palantir are more obvious than MSTR. MSTR following the Bitcoin, right? So far so good, I think, for longs in this area. Okay, let me put on some music here. So yeah, I'm done with this trade here from yesterday. So this was just like a quick trade, nothing serious. I told you guys that Palantir probably will try to hit 150 about, and we're already doing that. We have the daily 40 moving average here. We're touching it fairly close to this purple dotted line I put here at 156. I think that's good enough. That's good enough. I'm done. It probably could go to 160 if nothing happens with Iran any further, but I think the Iran stuff is about to be wrapped up. Without the V, I don't think they can do much. So it's going to be a mop-up operation, destroying the rest of the missile sites. Now, if Trump really wants to push regime change, that's going to be a lot harder, right? They knocked out most of the leaders, and they've elected the son of Khomeini as the next one up. Okay, so let me put up the CtC views after we're done talking about this. So MSTR, same thing. You see this 40 daily moving average over there. We retested this many times already. This level at 128 with that dashed line. And so, yeah, I think this pop is good for anybody hoping for a lot stronger push up. I think we don't need to revisit 120. But you know, that's not out of the table, right? With Bitcoin being very volatile. But if you look at this, yesterday was a good test. I think yesterday was a good test. We survived staying above this yellow zone and Bitcoin between 66 and 68,000. So I think that's pretty much solidifies that result there. Nothing else. And if you look at the daily, we are touching this downtrending 40 daily moving average. So yeah, that's probably a good time to exit out a trade. We've completed this trade, and that's it. Nothing else. Now, if you're gonna ask me, well, should I short this thing now? Will it at least try to get back and retest it again, this yellow, or maybe we will retest 60 down the line? I think that depends on how badly Broadcom does on earnings after the close. Okay, so Broadcom will have earnings. So let's look at how the SOXX is doing. It's trying to recover from yesterday. So I shorted from here, right, along this red candle for this daily. So I started shorting from this area to here. You know, it really was pretty bad yesterday. It surprised me that it didn't even bother trying to retest it at the bottom of the yellow. We're trying to do it today, but maybe after Broadcom is just going to roll over. Would you short it again here in case of Broadcom? Yeah, you could. You could do that. And I'm going to tell you, IGV is the one that's taking over. So 5 days ago, I said, is IGV going to take over from SOXX? IGV is the software sector that's been beaten down for the past several months, right? And a lot of people probably were thinking like, sure, let's keep being bearish on it. No, if everyone's bearish on it down here, it's gonna bounce some. So we've been doing a good job since Tuesday. last Tuesday, bouncing up, bouncing up, bouncing up, going right through it yesterday like this. This is a strong indicator, and it follows Bitcoin. The same people that do IGV will do Bitcoin. So these are the similar types of investors, okay? So we'll have to see how that goes. And I'm going to show you again the okay. No, not that. I'm not sharing that. Let's see. Share screen. Okay, this one. All right. Let me see that. And let me share you this. So this is what I said 5 days ago. IGV needs to take over from SOXX, semiconductors. It seems like it's doing that. So for people thinking it's going to be easy way down, if IGV does take over, Broadcom doesn't do well after the close, and it spills over tomorrow with Sienna doing earnings too, then it might be fine, you know? As long as the Iranian stuff doesn't kick off any further, I think we should be fine. And IGV and Bitcoin have a strong correlation. Okay, I've showed you this chart here. See how similar they go together? And their correlation right now is at 1. So the same type of people buying IGV, buying Palantir, buy Bitcoin. It's the same types. So I don't see a problem so far. They are controlling the board. I know that there's a lot of people on Twitter saying, yeah, there's no investors buying this stuff. Yeah, maybe true, but as long as there's nothing new, right, in the software front, I don't there's no more earnings in software. You got all the earnings you needed. Broadcom will report after the close. That affects semiconductors. Will it spill over the software? I think the software is kind of beat up too much right now. You already had Zscaler, you had Box. Actually, let me show you like the Box earnings. Let's just show you the Box earnings. Let's see, Box, and what else was there? What other earnings was there? Box. Okay, let's see. Got my list of things. Box, earnings, and then oh, MongoDB. Yeah, that was another bad one, huh? MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB. All right, let's show that one. I'll show you guys that one. So MDB. Yeah, this one, right? Like, it's down 22%. I mean, so we have Box. Box will report earnings. Yeah, okay, it already reported earnings, so it's fine. Okay, so, yeah, there's nothing left. We got Vive, I guess. That'll report earnings. Yeah, after the close today. Okay. But for the most part, yeah, everything's done. I don't know what else we're gonna do for software. Yeah, it's like, it's hard for me to say, like, yo, this thing will go down right now. Nope. It's probably gonna go 160. I'm done though. I'm done with my trade here, and I'm done trading MSTR. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out of any longs. That's it. I'm done with this. Okay. Good luck to everyone else. I got my 20%. I'm happy. And I shorted semiconductors from here. I got my 20% there too. So I'm happy. I'm done. I don't think so. I use SOXS. Anybody wants to trade this into Broadcom earnings? Yeah. So if you actually timed it from the bottom to the top, it's 30, but I got my 20. Okay. Not perfect, but I got my 20. I don't need no more. So, it's up to you guys how you want to feel about trading through the rest of the week. Okay, but I think the Iranian stuff is calmed down. We don't have any more. Brent oil is still at $80. I think it's gonna stick. So that's gonna stick. I don't think we're gonna go up to 100. Okay, the Iranian Navy is not alive. It's pretty much wiped out. So all they can do is keep shooting missiles at people, but they can't block the straits. So apart from that, it's taking into account the fact that Iranian oil is probably going to be taken out of the market. Okay, so we got 80, and that's what we're going to hold for the Brent. Okay, anything else? No, nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay, now we're going to talk about... Let's see here. Discounted tickers. Let's see what to discuss. So the funny thing was, last time I talked about the South Korean market, right there, right, on Monday night, and the next day it crashed. So it crashed about like what, 10%. The other thing too, what followed it was gold and silver. So you look at silver miners, crashed pretty much about 10% too, right? And the thing was, I told you that South Korea and silver looked very similar. Qatar shut down gas liquefaction. That's only going to affect natural gas, so that doesn't really matter much. No. So everything we've done, it's already over. Everything's done. Whatever oil's done, people are just gonna like pump everything in tech again for a while. So I think the software names will keep on recovering a bit, but I'm out. I'm done trading that stuff. So I already told you guys about Palantir and all that, so I think I'm finished. But it can continue. Like Bitcoin, yeah, maybe it'll continue, right? This stuff. And I already told you the cycle charts. The cycle charts say that Bitcoin should be in a good cycle in through late April. So all the way through tax season. So if you think this thing can go to 80 plus, it's possible. It's quite possible given what we have here. This was not rejected. That was what I was worried about. I was worried if yesterday, this thing just went right through there. So if you look closely, it opened, right? The market opened, and then Bitcoin was about to break the seal at the bottom of the yellow zone, but then popped right away. And then after that, it's just like, nah. Yep. We're good. It's saved. So all the stuff that happened over the weekend to protect it below the pink area was fine, because you can see like it was going right to the yellow, and then we were dangling below the yellow again very dangerously, and then on Monday we pumped right through it. A lot of volume came through, but people were just selling off again, going back, retesting it, okay, fine, then I decide, yeah, okay, fine, I'll get into it, because like the Nasdaq was not giving up anything, right? If you look at the Nasdaq down here, you see that? Like we went right through the dotted line at 592. Yes, you see, I drew this dotted line a long time ago, and it went right to it, and then it bounced back towards the cyan line. So this is more important. The cyan line is more important than this dotted line or this dashed line. But once you get through back to there with this candle, and then you hold it, so that's it. You're done, dude. There's nothing much you can do for selling off anymore. You had your chance yesterday, bears. So anybody that had their chance, they had their chance down there, because it should have been so easy for it to crash further from here all the way to 583. It didn't happen. So then you just go long everything with the Palantir and MSTR. And you go, okay, quick trade. Let's have a quick trade. So now you just be asking yourself, should I plan for a short in case Broadcom tomorrow, after the close is bad, and then it spills over into Thursday, and then Friday, and then Thursday we'll have Marvell after the close into Friday. So if anything's going to happen, then it better happen there. There's a lot of volume now coming through, right? Are these sellers or are these buyers for MSTR? How about Palantir? How about Palantir? Yeah, I mean, are these buyers or are these sellers? Is this going to fade? Is this going to fade the rest of the day and just like crash through tomorrow because of Broadcom? I don't know. But if you want the NASDAQ to keep holding, IGV has to take over from semiconductors. Semiconductors after NVIDIA, looking at this, no. We wasted a lot of volume here, right? You see how much volume we've had. And then now you look at this stuff here. This is NVIDIA, crash. And then this is, I don't know what this was. I guess this was everybody running to the dollar. It's probably like, if you look at gold and silver and all the stuff happening yesterday morning, it was because of the dollar. People were cashing out tremendously. You look at the dollar. This is a dollar index right here. So this was like pre-market, overnight to pre-market. Everybody was running to the dollar. Everyone's cashing out to the dollar. And you have to understand, when people are afraid of everything and there's liquidity issues in the market, you have to get dollars, right? Okay? You are not going to get silver and gold. If you want to repay debt, I have loans to repay. I can't go to the bank and just toss coins of gold and silver at them. No, that doesn't work. When you repay debt on a global scale, they only accept dollars. That's how the US is a reserve currency. That's the power of the US. That's why they can print debt everywhere, because the demand for dollars is always there. They have to settle debts in dollars. And so whatever was causing this, because it was already happening on Monday, all right? So Sunday to Monday it was rising, okay, from the uncertainty with Iran. And then it kept rising. So that shocked enough of the market. I think everyone has to reprice everything now that they know that, yeah, oil is going to stay at 80 barrels on the Brent market. Everything's being repriced yesterday. So that's why you saw the South Korean bubble pop. You saw the silver and gold guys run out. It's like, that's done. And if you look at it, silver and gold, like I said, is going to trade sideways. We tried to get above this yellow area, and now we're back in it from yesterday. I think we're just going to stay magnetized to this zone. If we go above it, we go back down into the yellow. If we go below it, we go back into the yellow. So we're just going to go sideways for the rest of the year like this on gold, for sure. Silver might be a different story since it's an industrial metal, but it couldn't even like get back into the yellow here that I drew. It just tapped it, okay, on Monday, and then that's it. It just slid. Yeah, so the dollar is dominant. It's dominating how things are. The dollar will weaken again, okay? But until that happens, yeah, be afraid of anything else. So any international stocks, like we were talking about Mexico, right? Well, you see, the dollar strengthens, everybody runs out of Mexico too. Nothing's safe outside. So when people want to cash out, they cash out of everything, every stock, anywhere, and they want to get cash. So this is a sign of a liquidity issue. It could happen again. It happened multiple times before. The worst one was 2024 during the yen carry trade crisis, but I don't think we're going to see that until later this year. That's what Samantha LeDuc says. She'll expect it coming later in the year, not now. But yeah, you got to pay attention to the dollar when things go crazy like this. So that increases the volatility. Okay. Okay, what else I got to mention about? Okay, UwU. Okay, so with all the volatility, you see this issue here. It looks like it's tracking XLE more than it's tracking XOP, which is not what I want to see. So until all this volatility shakes out, you're gonna see issues like this. The other two ETFs to watch are Gush. Gush is 2x XOP. So if UwU doesn't like calm down and actually work the way it's supposed to work, I may tell you to get another stock called NRGU. NRGU is 3x big oil. So only the big oil companies. Okay? So NRGU. But for now, like I'll just say just stick with UwU for now, unless I really change my mind. So for all the long-term people, over time, UwU will outperform as long as we have a nice trend up. But if we keep having volatility issues, then I might tell you guys to switch over to NRGU. Okay, that's where you're gonna have to be. And another one is Gush. All right. Okay, and the other one is Gush. Gush is 2x XOP. Gush. XOP. So Gush is 2x XOP. So that's less leverage, but it tracks it better, okay? Because it's less leveraged. And yeah, you can see like, okay, it's not going to be as aggressive as UwU, but I could track it better. But then again, NRGU could be a better replacement since it's like in between those two. So I might tell you to get NRGU. I don't know yet. I don't think it really matters right now as long as we get back on track and stop doing this pump pre-market, dump into market, pump pre-market, dump into market, because that's what's been happening. People have just been like trying to escape everything overnight, and it's causing issues during the day for all the ETFs right now in oil. So that's what you got to watch out for. That's why leverage is annoying, and it kind of gives you an idea of how options traders do. Options traders, this is why options trading is terrible, right? Because you want to get leverage, but then volatility increases. If volatility stayed small and it went up, you make money on your options. But then when volatility increases, unless you were betting on volatility increasing, you actually lose money in your options. That's exactly what you're seeing in UwU. So even though it's going up, the volatility is increasing, you actually are losing your bet, because options is multi-dimensional. Options bets on price, bets on time, bets on your contract expiring date, it bets on volatility. It bets on multiple factors, so it's multi-dimensional. When you buy and sell stocks, you don't have to think about that, right? It's just the price. Is it going up or is it going down? So you can actually bet on something going sideways, but if the volatility is increasing and you didn't take that into account, you can actually lose a lot of money in your options and blow up your account. So that's why I stayed away from options, because it sounded like, whoa. I'm not a genius here. I can't be trading 10 dimensions at once. Okay, so but most people don't when they trade options, they don't do that. They construct their options trades in a way where they only have to worry about one or two variables. They don't have to worry about all the variables. Okay, if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, though, yeah, you could get blindsided and go like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's it. If I'm 75% in oil, where should I throw this 25? Yeah, I really want to consider either healthcare or Mexico right now. That's the thing I'm considering. Now, if you do healthcare, I might just say do the more risky maneuver and get into Moderna. So out of all the pharmaceutical biotech stocks, Moderna seems to me the one that will outperform everyone. And they made an ETF for it for leverage recently. MRNX. So this is a new ETF. It tracks Moderna 2x. So if you bought some of this MRNX yesterday, you did well, okay? But it's risky, but I do like Moderna. So for a buy and forget trade, this could be one that I might promote. You know, it's either this one or it's going to be Mexico. I haven't decided yet. It could just be this one. Because you see how well it's testing this right now. So this has been the most recent high. It's like, bro, this thing, it already tested 36 again before earnings. After earnings, it recovered. This was because the FDA did not approve of its flu shot, okay? But it's recovered quite nicely. And then once the rest of the biotechs, because you look at the rest of the biotechs, look at it, it's flat. It's doing nothing. Moderna is the best performing one. Moderna is the one that has the chart that looks like a lot of people were buying it up at $23. It has the potential to recover and go back to 150. Maybe even go back to COVID highs if the interest rates are pushed down. What's up, Crack? Shout out to all the Iraqis for making my Palantir stocks explode. Oh, yeah. Good job. Yes. Watch out, Garian, for Palantir. I think my feeling is that it's going to have a hard time getting far away from 160 if it ever gets there. If it does, if it fails here, it's going back down. So watch out for that. Because I think this is temporary. Because everybody went short down here like morons. It's going to push Palantir back up to 160, but then it's going to fall back later in the year. Or maybe sooner. I don't know. Everything's so volatile with the May coming up. May is around the corner. We have a new Fed chair. So this thing with insurance, how much does it affect Moderna? I don't know. Insurance usually just only will affect like the health insurers mostly, and some of the big name pharmaceuticals. Moderna is already too small. You know, it doesn't have many drugs out there. So like Eli Lilly is probably going to have more of a problem with that, right? And then you have Ozempic from Novo Nordisk. Maybe that stock will have more of an issue, right? You see it's already been decimated after earnings. Ozempic isn't selling as much. Actually, if you go look at ads, they do a lot of sold some of mine, but I still have some in. Oh, good. Yeah. Sell whatever you can when the price is right. You know, there's no rush right now. Yeah, good. And so you look at this Ozempic. You see a lot of ads now telling you to buy the original formula Ozempic. But yeah, it would affect these type of stocks more. I think Moderna is already too beaten up. It's already been beaten up since COVID. I feel like this has better play. It's a smaller name, and it doesn't have too much of an issue with that. Hopefully. I don't know. I don't know the full details of its drug pipeline, though. But based on the chart itself, it looks better. But yeah, Eli Lilly and Novo probably will have an issue with that. So yeah, Eli Lilly might have to retest this at least, but it's stronger than Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk is, man, it's just a fuck, dude. This is horrible. It's completely horrible looking chart here. Maybe you'll buy it when it gets to 28. How about that? This one. But yeah, this one's not gonna do. But so yeah, Moderna is in XBI. I don't think XBI has any issue with the drug stuff. Because these guys are small players. They're not big players. The big players are the ones that will get hit more. The smaller players are the ones competing with the bigger players. Let me see. What's the pharmaceutical? Let me see. Drug ETF. Is there a drug ETF? Oh wow, there's actually a weight loss drug and treatment ETF just for that. I guess they just made a new one. Oh man, every time they make these new ETFs, it's just not good. Yeah. So pill. I know there's a pill ETF. So this is a bullish. What is it? 3x bull. Yeah, pill ETF. Yeah. Well, I don't know how much difference this is from LabU. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's much of a difference. But the big drug names are going to be an issue here. XLV is still doing well, so that's it. Okay, 30 minutes. I think that's all I need to talk about in the beginning. Let's look at how about Mexico? How about Brazil? I think Brazil had the same issues. Brazil. Okay, Brazil did all right. It survived. Brazil survived better than Mexico. Okay. Yeah, okay. It survived a little bit better than Mexico. Yeah, a little bit better. Okay. But they all fell, yeah. See how Israel's doing right now. EIS. Yeah, Israel's doing fine. It got a little hit by that dollar stuff, but no. Yeah, all the dollar stuff mostly affected the countries that are more sensitive to the currency changes. So yeah, Brazil, Mexico, and South Korea. So since we talked about yesterday, I mean on Monday, when would I think about buying this? I think around May, maybe I'll think about it. But I don't think I'm very enthusiastic. All right, Moderna is more my speed. I think this one looks a lot more delicious here. Yeah. Okay. So any other earnings? GitLab had earnings. Still terrible. Okay, it's down. CrowdStrike. Okay, it had earnings. Okay, it did all right. It survived. It didn't need to drop to its low of 331. This is kind of like a range that I set way back here. Okay. So it's doing all right. So that's convincing. Okay, let's go back to GoPro. GoPro will have earnings, huh? This Thursday too, I think. Thursday, yeah. Okay, I'll watch it. Man, this thing went to 50 cents back then. God damn. I mean, Intel used to own this one. They bought it and they spun it back out. Okay, Victoria's Secret. This is a roller coaster stock. It will have earnings tomorrow morning. Let's see how it happens. I don't know. I never played this one. It's just too. Look at this chart. It's all over the place. I don't like this. I mean, maybe you like it for a trade or something, but ugh. JD. Okay, this will be important earnings for China. They'll report tomorrow. All right. Okay, let's look back at MSTR. How's it doing? Okay, it's doing fine. All right, still doing okay. I think the market's doing fine then. Palantir probably fine too. Okay. I guess it's doing okay. I think Palantir definitely hit some kind of top already for the day. We'll have to see if the QQQ rolls over once it hits closer to 610 on the NASDAQ. Okay, yeah, that'll be what you want to watch today. See if it rolls over. If it doesn't, then you'll have to wait for Broadcom to decide things, okay? SOXX, so maybe you'd be thinking like, yeah, let me short here. Let me short semiconductors again. I don't know. You want to gamble on Broadcom earnings? Good luck. Good luck to you. I don't think that's an easy call to make, but sure, why not? If you want to, SOXS is going to be at $2. See what else. Oh, that's it. I think Palantir and MSTR are the only ones that I thought were interesting to make here today. Okay, done. All right, I think we're good. Okay, what happened to Korea? No, it's because of the dollar. I think it's because of the dollar. So you got to go back to the beginning of the stream. So the dollar had a spike going into yesterday morning, and I think that everyone had to sell stuff because they had to cash out, meaning there's a liquidity issue. That means there's a liquidity. We saw this before. You saw silver, gold, everything drop at the same time. It's like, yeah, it's a liquidity problem. There's no reason. It's a bubble anyway, like I told you guys. Like, you see copper, right? You saw that. It crashed. So, yeah, it's all liquidity issue. So people had to get dollars. You can't pay off loans with gold and silver, okay? Or pieces of copper or barrels of oil. When people take out loans, they require to pay their debts in dollars. That keeps a floor in. This is why the US is strong. This is why the US doesn't care about money printing. It can print debt forever. Because like people always have to go back to dollars to settle debt, right? So like you open your wallet, you read the thing, right? There's a contract in your wallet, right? It says like, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. There you go. People don't pay off debt in gold and silver coins, okay? We got off the gold standard. We used to be able to pay in silver too. We don't do that no more. So that's why demand is always back to the dollar. And then when we had the petrodollar created, when we made a deals with the Saudis, we said like, okay, you sell your oil, but you have to tell everyone to pay it in dollars. So even when you trade oil, you have to use dollars to buy that oil. Doesn't matter which country buys that oil from Saudi Arabia. You got to pay in. And that's when you had OPEC and all that stuff. Yeah, everybody, even the Iranians, when they sell their oil, it has to be traded in dollars. So even the Iranians need dollars. That's how strong the U.S. military and the U.S. Made contracts and deals around the world. And that's what kept us going for so long as an empire, right? So there we go. That's how it is. Of course, things have changed. Like the Chinese have made their own side market where you can buy oil with yuan. The Russians also, like you can buy it with gold. So there is a splintering happening, but primarily you have to buy in dollars. So every time, and that's why they call it euro dollar, the euro dollar system. And I already told you about the milkshake theory, right? Do I have to repeat the milkshake theory? Yeah, maybe I'll just read the milkshake theory again for you guys. Hold on. I think this is important for you guys to understand. Like the milkshake theory. This is the very first thing when I came on John Galt's show. The very first thing I presented to you people was the milkshake theory. Yeah, I drink your milkshake. Yeah, so that's the whole point. You need dollars. You don't need gold. You don't need silver. You don't need oil. You need dollars, because at the end of the day, I get a loan. It's denominated in dollars. So this was in 2020. Brent Johnson had been saying this for years. Even before 2020. So he said updating the dollar milkshake theory and $5,000 gold. This was in 2020. We're in 2026. We have $5,000 gold right now, right? So $5,000 will buy you a troy ounce of gold. So that target has been hit. From the movie There Will Be Blood. Okay, let me change the music. From the movie There Will Be Blood. You know what? It doesn't matter if I own your land or not. Even if you have a milkshake, I have a long straw, and I put my straw in your milkshake and I will drink it. When I saw that scene, I thought it was a very good analogy for what was going on over the last couple years, which I think will pick up speed in the next couple years. Post Great Financial Crisis, GFC 2008-2009, the world, central banks and monetary authorities got together and they printed all these different currencies. They created a currency milkshake of pounds, yen, euros, reals, etc. For a number of reasons, I feel that the US has the straw. For a few years, we were raising interest rates, and that acted as a straw sucking up the liquidity that the rest of the world was providing. And that's largely why you saw the US markets do what it did. But it wasn't just based on interest rates. Interest rates is the primary, but not the only driver. There's a number of other factors. We have the deepest financial markets in the world. There's a large amount of US dollar denominated debt outside the US that acts as a demand for the dollar. The US Navy enforces the dollar as the global reserve currency. The rule of law, the tax policy, the trade policy, there's a number of factors that lead the US to being one of, if not the most hospitable place for foreign capital. I think that acts as a straw that sucks up the global capital, and I expect that will accelerate in a couple years rather than decrease. My point is not that you shouldn't own gold. My point is that when it comes down to it, people need to have dollars. They don't need to have gold. They may want to have gold, and I may want to have gold, but to operate on the world stage, you need dollars. And when they had to choose between dollars and gold in March, they chose dollars. Okay, you get it now? That's pretty much it. That pretty much is what happens. Every time there's a liquidity problem in the plumbing system, they run and get dollars. That's why any type of bubble that you see, like the South Korean market was a bubble, okay? It was all AI and all this like export demand for chips and products that they need. Well, the thing about South Korea is they need to import a lot of energy, right? They need to import a lot of energy such as natural gas and oil. When the oil price is at 80 and it's like, wait a minute, hold up here. Is it going to stay at $80 on the Brent crude market? If it stays at 80, then I need to get dollars to pay for that oil. So guess what? I'm dumping stocks so I get money so that I can pay for that crude, because they have to think about the future. If they thought the future was $60 a barrel oil, it's a lot different than $80. $80 is a 20, dude, come on, like you $20 increase in the price of oil. That's ripples down to all your businesses. Everybody doing business will have to think, hold up. If it's $80, that means I got to worry about inflation and such and such thing over here, there. So all the businesses, all the people trickles down, and then people have to reprice everything. And so then it sucks in all the dollars, because then they say like, I need dollars right now. I have to buy all these futures for oils because they have futures contracts for oil, right? Everything's repriced at 80 now. If they think it's not going to drop anytime soon and it's going to stick at 80 and go maybe even go higher in the future, then yeah, they're going to say, hold up, I need my dollars right now so that I can pay for future barrels of oil later at a higher price. And that's what happened probably. So yeah, you'll see a lot more issues like that when energy prices stay higher. So this will increase inflation, because now people are anticipating that oil stays at a higher price. And when people's psychology changes and thinks this is at a higher price, then everything else is at a higher price. And this is how inflation starts. So that's why I said, like, everything starts with energy prices. Energy prices, once it goes higher, everything goes higher. You need to ship goods across the sea. What's required for that? Crude oil. You need to fly on a jet plane. What's going to require that? Higher crude oil prices, right? That creates jet fuel. What trucks use? Trucks use gasoline, diesel. That's going to be increased with higher crude oil prices. So everything down the line will increase. Yeah. And chemicals, lubricants. Oh, even your color in your candy. You know that red number 40 when they use it for soda and candy and other like food coloring, that's made from crude oil too. So delicious red number 40. Yum, 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 yum. Supposedly causes cancer and ADHD in kids or whatever, but nobody cares, do they? They love that red coloring. So there you go. Everything comes from crude, man. Everything. We love to eat plastic and and all this trash. It's all comes from crude oil. Anyhow, let me give you the link. You guys can read the rest of this. I think I repeated it too much already. Okay. All right. So take a screenshot of that. That's the link. All right. Files.catbox.mo. That's a PDF I made. It was a transcript, so I just wrote it down. Okay. All right. Anything else? Let's see. Got about 25 minutes. Okay. Let me look at this. Let me refresh it. Okay, I think we still have, so we'll have a little pump. Okay, that's probably happening right now. So this is kind of delayed. So this data is stale, okay? So we're probably right here. So if Broadcom does not do well, then yeah, we're going to go down into the 6th, okay, into Friday. Broadcom and Marvell. So I guess the semiconductors, based on this cycle, will bottom out there, and then we'll probably try to go up again next week. All right, so that's for semiconductors. So yeah, I mean, you could try to short it like ahead of this thing. But I'm done, you know. I think it's safer just to say, like, I'm not going to trade anymore. I think that was a good trade from last week. For Bitcoin, okay, so we might be at a top right now. So we're over here. Okay, we're up here right now. So the data isn't like drawn to up to date, but we're up here. We probably are going down into the weekend again. So you might have a good chance of getting Bitcoin again later in the weekend. So if you're looking for another entry on Bitcoin, go ahead. But I think for the longer term, Bitcoin, I did say like we are in a good spot to keep going up because this uptrend for the cycles is going in through tax season. So up until May. So you might actually have a pretty good thing. 25 minutes until what? 25 minutes until I gotta shift gears or leave. I'm gonna have to read the book of Esther of the chapters here, and that'll be it, I think. And King TL wanted me to tell him about torrenting. I haven't torrented in a long time, so I might be talking about torrenting after this. Okay, guys, but let me get to chapter 3. We're on chapter 3 now in the book of Esther. All right, so let me finish reading that. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Let's yeah, because this is Purim. So we have Purim is the holiday. What is happening? You don't know Purim? We have a blood moon. We have Purim. I mean, this is why we have war in Iran. If you don't read the Bible, you're not understanding the geopolitics. People actually do believe in prophecy, and they will try to make it happen. Yeah. So this is why we have war right now. It's not by chance. Okay. Okay, let's go. How about this one? After these things did King Ashurus promote Haman, the son of Hamad, oh my god, Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advance him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. Oh, interesting. Okay. For the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Who? Well, you know, that's on you, man. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shewed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ashurus, even the people of Mordecai. So this is the revenge on the Persians. Yes, Jewish Mardi Gras. Yep, there we go. And this is how it is. So this is it. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ashurus, they cast pur, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Ashurus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. Well, now it's barrels of oil, right? And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agatite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, to the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ashurus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by posts into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The posts went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan, the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. I don't know why they were perplexed. Yeah, oy vey. Yep, this is it, man. That's exactly why they did it, right? Right close to that holiday. I've heard some rumors that based on how you count the when the Earth was created, right? It's close to the year 5000. Pretty soon. So they kind of are rushing things to make prophecy happen, apparently. I don't know if it's true, but it's wild to think that there are people in control of governments that actually read this stuff and, okay, yeah, sure. We're going to make prophecy happen. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city, and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, the fasting, the weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. When was the king exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Then called Esther to Hathash, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hatach went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. Also he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to shew it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him for her people. And Hatak came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again Esther spake unto Hatak, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. Oh, guilt trip. Guilt trip. All right. Shalom, gobbledygook. Shalom. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed, and who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law, and if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. All right. Now we get to the interesting parts here. 5. How many chapters was I supposed to read? Yeah, this is it. And then we'll have a cliffhanger, I think, after this one. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther, and why is thy request? And what is thy request? It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom. And Esther answered, If it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet, and that I have prepared for him. Then the king said, Cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther hath said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Then answered Esther and said, My petition and request is this. My request is this. If I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king hath said. Then went Haman forth that day joyful, and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends, and Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches, and the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and servants of the king. Haman said moreover, Yea, Esther the queen did not let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself. And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. Then said Zeresh his wife, and all his friends unto him, Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. All right, to be continued. Of course, to be continued. So, let's play this video here. So this is the recent update from CENTCOM, Central Command of the United States fleets and armies in the Middle East.
Good afternoon. I'm Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of United States Central Command. In this capacity, I lead U.S. military forces in the Middle East. I'm here to provide you an update on Operation Epic Fury, now in our 4th day of execution. First, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to the families and teammates of the extraordinary Americans who've been killed in action. And I'd also like to extend our prayers for a speedy recovery to the wounded. Yesterday, you heard from Secretary Hegseth and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Today, I'd like to give you an operational update on where we are and provide you with some key facts. By order of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. Having spent more than 36 years in the military, I could not be prouder of America's sons and daughters in uniform who are answering the call. More than 50,000 troops, 200 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, and bombers from the United States are participating in this operation, and more capability is on the way. These forces bring a massive amount of firepower, representing the largest buildup by the U.S. in the Middle East in a generation. In the opening hours of Operation Epic Fury, U.S. Central Command forces, together with Israel, delivered overwhelming and unprecedented strikes into Iran. Many of you may remember the shock and awe strikes of 2003. The first 24 hours of this operation were nearly double the scale, and we continue with 24/7 strikes into Iran from seabed to space and cyberspace. Now, we're less than 100 hours into this operation, and we've already struck nearly 2,000 targets with more than 2,000 munitions. We have severely degraded Iran's air defenses and destroyed hundreds of Iran's ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones. And in simple terms, we're focused on shooting all the things that can shoot at us. Our B-2 bombers and B-1 bombers have executed uncontested surgical strikes against multiple missile facilities deep inside Iran. And then just last night, a B-52 bomber force struck ballistic missile and command and control posts. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy. Thus far, we've destroyed 17 Iranian ships, including the most operational Iranian submarine that now has a hole in its side. For decades, the Iranian regime has harassed international shipping. Today, there's not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman, and we will not stop. We will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations. We're hunting Iran's last remaining mobile ballistic missile launchers to eliminate what I would characterize as their lingering launch capability. Now, in retaliation, the Iranian regime has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and over 2,000 drones. To be clear, Iran is indiscriminately targeting civilians as they launch these missiles and drones. You've seen it on TV. The evidence is crystal clear and overwhelming. Having said this, we are seeing Iran's ability to hit us and our partners is declining, while our combat power, on the other hand, is building. And my overall operational assessment is that we are ahead of our game plan. Along the way, every single branch of our military is achieving unprecedented success. I'll talk about just a few of them. Our naval forces have deployed multiple waves of cruise missiles, obliterating Iranian command and control and air defense capabilities. From 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, we're squeezing Iran from the sea and have them backed into their own ports. U.S. air forces are doing what they do best, executing a high volume of airstrikes right into Iran. Operationally, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world, the U.S. and Israel, are dominating the skies of the world's largest state sponsor of terror. Our U.S. Army soldiers are defending ourselves and our partners, and in a historic first, the U.S. Army fired long-range precision strike missiles called PRISMs in combat, providing an unrivaled deep strike capability. Also for the first time, U.S. Central Command's drone task force, called Task Force Scorpion Strike, launched countless one-way attack drones, achieving massive effects. I'd like to point out these drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them right back at Iran. I just could not be prouder of our men and women in uniform, leveraging innovation to create dilemmas for the enemy. There is no adversary too determined, no mission too difficult for the great soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen that make up the most powerful military the world has ever seen. Our military objectives are crystal clear, and our people are executing an immensely complex and historic mission with relentless lethality, conviction, and professionalism. And we've just begun. But I have the utmost confidence that we, alongside our partners, will absolutely achieve our military objectives. To all our warriors, Godspeed. Thanks so much.
Okay, guys, so what do you guys think? Are we done? Is the war pretty much over? Are we mopping things up? Well, we shall see what the new Supreme Leader says about this. Let's see how long this will take. I think all we're doing right now is to see how many more missiles they can launch. And we're trying to like knock out as many factories as they have so they can't make any more missiles and drones. But yeah, maybe that'll take a while, huh? And of course, there's Persian New Year later this month. Okay, Nowruz. So it might be symbolic that something might happen then. So take that into account as well. This video is interesting. It's from a channel that covers a shortwave radio, ham radio.
This is an impromptu installment to tell you about an important enigma that's appeared on the shortwave bands in this last couple of days and has just transmitted once again this evening. I have to thank Lorenzo, IZ0KBA, for the tip on this amazing new development. He's contributed some of the factual information regarding what we know about this signal, which is also in his fantastic blog, which I'll link below. The signal in question is a numbers station. For those who don't know, they're mainly groups of numbers, sometimes letters, encrypted by means of a one-time pad, making them impossible to decode by anyone except the sender and recipient. They've been used for almost 100 years now to send and receive the most sensitive information between the intelligence services and agents and spies in the field. Aside from voice messages, number stations also consist of data and digital modes as well as Morse code. There are still many in use today. Russia is the main user of number stations, but the US, the UK, France, Germany, Ukraine, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Israel, Egypt and Austria have all used number stations, many up until the most recent of times. China, North Korea, Poland also employ number stations as a means of top-secret communications today. It's not often we see new number stations appear these days, however. The most recent one I can recall is V30, the Vietnamese lighthouse number station. It appeared on February the 21st, 2010, but disappeared on May the 6th, 2016. The thought of a number station appearing on the air in 2026 is something really spectacular and quite honestly unbelievable. A new one has appeared though, it would seem, on 7910 kHz last night and tonight, and it's definitely one to watch. It's believed to be operated by Iran. Iran has never operated a number station before. This one appeared suddenly and mysteriously after the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. We know very little about number stations as it is. I made a documentary on them which I'll link below, but if this new one is Iranian in origin, it clearly has something to do with the removal of Iran's leadership. Of course, we can only speculate. This brought to my mind Operation London Bridge. Operation London Bridge was the funeral plan for Queen Elizabeth II. The plan included an announcement of her death, the period of official mourning, and the details of her state funeral. It was triggered as soon as she died. The launch of that operation was sent out to everybody involved in order to get things moving. The means of sending this information was obviously kept away from the public. Could it be that this Iranian number station is a signal to trigger whatever happens when the Ayatollah dies, but using the medium of shortwave, which of course we can hear? Article 111 of Iran's constitution was written in anticipation of the loss of the supreme leader, the single figure around whom the political and religious architecture of Iran ultimately rests. The provision is explicit in its intent to prevent paralysis. Whenever the leader becomes incapable of fulfilling his constitutional duties, it states, a council consisting of the president, the head of the judiciary, and one of the jurisprudence of the guardian council shall temporarily assume all the duties of the leader. It appears, however, that Khomeini died alongside the very officials designed to organise his replacement. The Islamic Republic was engineered to survive assassination. Its founders had built successions into its foundations. What they didn't anticipate was an adversary seeking to disrupt succession itself, and that's what's happening right now. The hope, of course, is that such disruption will create conditions for internal collapse, that the removal not only of the leader, but of those positioned to replace him might produce not continuity, but rupture, an uprising. But this isn't a political channel. We're interested in radio. Whether what this number station is doing or instructing is still relevant given the state of Iran's leadership is unclear, but it's been transmitted numerous times now over the past 2 evenings. The message structure consists of a male voice, possibly synthetic or pre-recorded, reading numeric groups delivered with consistent pacing. The signal is in USB mode, the numbers read are in the Farsi language.
Alright, you can go to Ringway Manchester and go and check out his videos. He has a lot of interesting videos, especially for you guys who are interested in radio. Radio is one of the very first things that, electrical engineers will learn. If you take a lot of analog and electromagnetism in your coursework, you'll find it interesting. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's old school, right? But it pretty much governs how things work, even your cellular towers, maybe, it's more fancy and whatever, but it's based on similar principles, okay? You need some modulation, demodulation, and adjusting carrier waves and such. This is all comes from that work in analog. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Okay, let's get back to it. Anything else to talk about? Let's see how the portfolios are doing for the boomer portfolios. Damn, air is still going up, huh? Let me see. How's it doing after a week? 8%, not bad. Marathon Petroleum Group, oof. This must be the winner chicken dinner of of all the oil and gas companies, I guess. Okay, Phillips 66, 6%. All right, I'll keep those. So yeah, definitely, I'm gonna have to keep abreast of all these things. Okay. Anything that's down, I'll have to see if I'm gonna kick them out or consider that we get ready to buy them. So what's gonna happen this month is that I'm still waiting for the downturn. There has to be a downturn. Okay, it's coming. I don't want people to be buying this, like all these stocks here when the market is moving down, because it will affect everyone. Everything will start going down if we have a liquidity problem. You saw it already. You saw when everybody was running to the dollar, what did they sell? They sold a lot of NASDAQ, a lot of S&P. They sold even more Brazil, South Korea, and Mexico. So a lot of those stocks went down. They sold their gold and silver, right? They were running out. So if there's another liquidity issue coming down the line, because let's look at here. Come on. I don't think the S&P 500 is going to withstand any more blows. And we got earnings coming up, right? And we still have Oracle next week. So don't think you're safe. All right. So let me get the blah 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 blah. Okay, let me get the symbolic here chart. I don't like to buy when there's too much uncertainty in there. When there's a lot of volatility, you don't want to be holding anything. What you want to see is that some stocks will go down less than other stocks. That's what happens. Like in April, right? When you saw March to April happen last year, there were some stocks that were going down less than others. When you start seeing that, you know you are picking out the right stocks. We have to see. We have to see how these stocks behave when the market is falling, okay? In a very unstructured, very volatile way. Okay, that means the VIX is going up and all that. That means people are desperate to get dollars. They're selling everything. They're trying to get out. Okay, this is Bitcoin right now. I think my target was 80K, right? This is when it's going to hit this area, the Ichimoku cloud, so that green zone. It's going to go right in there and start having trouble getting through. Once it gets through, then it can fly up higher. But the intermediate target is 80,000. So anybody who still wants to play MSTR, that's what you're looking for, okay? So let me look at the MSTR chart for you guys here. So let's say this will be maybe 192, 168 at the bottom range, somewhere between this area. All right, somewhere there. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets there. It might not, right? We might have. After the market closes, Broadcom has terrible earnings. Everybody's flipping out, and then Thursday to Friday we go back down. It's that could be. That's why I said like just trade what you can and don't stick around. Don't stick around either way. Don't stick around. Palantir is probably a lot better. Let's see how Palantir is. Yeah, Palantir has more ways to go. 160. So if you're in Palantir down here at 120s, yeah, you can take a chill pill and relax and see if it get up to 160. I think it's over. A lot of this stuff is oversold anyway, like Zscaler and all the other ones. Like yeah, but if we look at like S&P, Nasdaq, SOXX, they don't look good. They don't look good at all. Like yesterday could have been disastrous. You see here? It could have been disastrous. We could have just went down here and stayed down here for the rest of the day and just went down. That could have happened. Next target would be like 662 at the bottom. Otherwise, maybe we'll try for 700. Okay, on the SPY. I don't know. We keep trying though. But you see here, we might just fall back down to the cloud at the bottom at 674. If we stay below 680, all right, that's when I would be getting more and more nervous, because when you look at like the longer term charts, the weekly charts of the SPY and the QQQ Nasdaq, you're just like, ooh. And even the Dow Jones is starting to look weak. The Dow Jones itself is starting to look weak. You can see this. Yeah, like we're barely into this cloud here. This thing could go down to this target of 545 on the QQQ. Okay. So we might have a temporary break for next week into next week, but that might not last. So I have a dirty feeling like this is just temporary. But of course, I did say that Bitcoin has a chance to go up to 80 plus K. So if Bitcoin is happy, then we should still go sideways for a lot longer on the QQQ Nasdaq. And that's what I'm worried about. Too many people are thinking like it has to go one way or another. I bet you the worst thing that could happen to both sides is that the Nasdaq and S&P 500 keep going sideways for another month. You know, that would wipe out everyone, because everyone thinks there's going to be a big move down or up, and both of them are wrong. It's just going to go sideways because the semiconductors are going to go down, but then the software and communications are going to go up and take the blunt of the damage away. So if the semiconductors after today, let's say tomorrow it starts going into this cloud finally and penetrate, then it's going to go down to what, 300? At the same time, the IGV, okay, the software side, is going to go up, and we're going to go up to 100, right? So maybe around 97, 95 to 100. That's where we're going to be. So they cancel each other out, and we keep going sideways. And then oil and gas and all those other companies, they just stay happy and they recover and go up again. Yeah, and nothing happens this month. That's quite possible. I could see it. I could definitely see it because that will wipe out a lot of options. A lot of options this month it's a quarterly options, right? This is the end of the first quarter in March. So the third Friday will have the end of the options. So the 20th. So March 20th we'll have I think let's see what the Iranian like New Year's is. Let's see. Nowruz 2026. Oh, it's March 20th. Very convenient. Well, then, how about that? How about we go sideways all the way up until March 20th? Then something big happens. Like, then something big happens on the weekend, right? Just to celebrate Nowruz, really, fully. Could happen. I could see it. I could see it wait until then. And so for everyone else, stay put, stay chill. So that's what it is. No, thanks. Thank you, Thorpe too. Thank you, Grace or Ben. I don't know who it is. Anyway, let's see what else I was supposed to. Oh yeah, TK. Before I leave, I gotta talk about TK. TK, you asked me about how to torrent movies or some shit. Oh my god. Let me get to that. I don't know how to help you. Honestly, I haven't torrented since college, you know. So I'll have to open a private window. Let me see and go to some torrent website. Okay, let me take this off. Let me take this off. All right. So let me do some naughty things here in my private browsing. So first thing you could do is go to Yandex. So you can use Russian search engine. And usually when you use the Russian search engine, you can quickly find like stuff that you can stream like movies and whatever. So let's see what you were asking for. You were asking to stream the Serbian film. Okay. Somebody wants you to see some naughty stuff here. Serbian film, download or streaming. Okay. Usually they'll show you some stupid streaming websites. Yeah, vk.com. You can probably just go here and watch it from there. It won't be high quality though. If you actually care about quality and you still want to torrent, then let me see. Let me see. I think the best thing you can do is you have to find a private tracker. I don't know if you can use Pirate Bay and do that. So yeah, you see that you're gonna see porn and stuff here too. All right, so naughty, naughty, naughty. Please do not do anything here. So this is probably where you want to be. Okay. So go to VK. That you're gonna have to go through and sniff through all this stuff and try to find one of these that you get it. So that's the first way. Yandex. All right. Man, yeah, he just wants to go to Kick and stream movies there and have people and do commentaries. But yeah, so it's like, okay, you want to do this? Fine. Now the other way, okay. So you saw how I did it with Yandex, right? Just be careful though, because you can see there was porn on the right side of it. Um. So the other way is to let's see, what is it? That's the cheap way of doing things. The other way is to try to find private trackers. I think 4chan has a torrent. Let's see, torrent private tracker. They have a board where you can get private trackers. Dude, don't watch that shit. I don't know. That's up. TK is gonna have to figure this out. So you can probably find out where there's a torrent bit tracking and all this stuff. 4chan, something like that. 4chan, yeah. Sorry about that. I had to do something else. Anyhow, let's see. You could stream movies only on the early days of Kick. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought too, Eric W. Because he tried to play sports shit. He tried to play like the Netflix. But that was pay-per-view, so they were more on their game. You know, the mods on Kick came into chat, said like, "Hey, yo, stop playing that." So they were playing the fucking like what's his face? Boxing. What's his face? Oh, what's that idiot's name again? Whatever. Who cares? The small hat. Anyway. Yeah, they got involved in that stuff. So let me just do the private tracker thing. I don't know if he really wants to do that. Yeah, TK is about to get put into Rumble. It's possible. It's possible if he tries it. He could attempt it. He could attempt it a little bit. He could try to maybe, yeah, Jake Paul. That's right. Yeah, like why is he even still around? Like why is he even still popular? Like Clavicular is pretty much taken over now. Jeez. Yeah. Like who cares? Who cares about these people? But yes, you could do it this way. You could go 4chan. They have a private trackers general. You see here? Okay, TK. Take a screenshot. There's a link up there. I'm not going to post this damn link in the chat. All right? I'm going to get enough trouble telling you how to like freaking steal doing some naughty things. But yes, this is how you do it. Okay? Go here. Go in the thread, go ask them questions. Go like, "Oh, I'm a dummy, I'm a noob. Can I get an invite to a private tracker?" And then you'll figure out how to torrent from there. Otherwise, you're gonna be in trouble because I bet your North Dakota ISP, when they see you're using torrent, they're gonna slap you all the time. It's quite obvious. When you're in a big city, it's easy to hide things, okay? It's easy to hide things because there's so many IP addresses that get rotated in a big city. When you're in North Dakota, how many IP addresses are out there for Fargo and all that? Probably not many. So yeah. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck to you. I don't know. But that's about it. Before I leave, let's see how the markets are doing now. Do I want to short semiconductors before Broadcom? I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm really tempted. Greedy there. I already got my 20%. Why should I risk myself doing that? So, let's see. Damn. It does look tempting though. I'll tell you why it looks tempting. Here. Let me put this up on screen. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Here we go. So, like if we look at the 78-minute chart here, you know, we got a nice downtrending thing here with the 18 under the 40 moving average. And then we're moving up towards this yellow area. I think it's not going to cut through it. If I'm conservative, I'll wait for Broadcom to report, okay, and then see tomorrow if it even like makes a failed attempt at hitting here tomorrow. Because then it's just going to roll over. And if it does roll over, then the potential that we can have a 32% move from the top of this yellow area here will be confirmed. So So SOXS, if you can get it at around like $1.80 tomorrow, that's probably it. I don't know if you want to risk and get it now at this 190 just to gamble on earnings, but yeah, that's it. We have a reverse split too, apparently. Okay, so take that into account. We got a reverse split tomorrow, so to $40. Okay, because that's not the real price. That's just because we're splitting the shares here. So we are taking the $2 here and turning it into $40 tomorrow. That this doesn't mean that it shot up to $40 from $2. Okay, don't make that rookie mistake here. How many times have I seen people just go crazy when they see splits happen and then they think like, oh shoot, there's something like earnings that has done well is this space satellite company ASTS. I don't know. I don't know if I want to recommend this, but I talked about this already. I think last stream or 2 streams ago, how it did this nice move here and then it bounced up above it. Yeah, I'll keep it on watch, but I'm not so serious about like recommending it right now when the market is sort of too risky. Maybe after we get that shakeout in the Nasdaq, I'll look at this again because yeah, there's a lot of space stocks and even these like uh, these quantum computing stocks. I know Martin Shkreli hates them with a passion. He really wants these things to be shorted to death. But if you look at Qubit, it reported earnings already, and it's at this zone here between $5, $6 and $9, $10. So okay, around 6 to 9. That will be a place to buy, just in case it goes back up to 24. I don't know. It's possible. So QUBT, that's a stock that you might want to use as a trading vehicle. So keep that in mind too. Otherwise, yeah, watch out. That's it. Okay, guys, I'll see you around. I don't think there's anything too much else to talk about. All the action was in the morning. I did everything I need to do in the morning. I'm done. Okay. I see this box, tickle it. Tickle the bottom of this box. The SPY, let's see. No, still not back at 690. So, Broadcom it is. We're gonna have to wait for Broadcom, guys. That's at. Let's see, Palantir. Palantir, go move anything further. PLTR. No, it's pretty much whatever it had in the morning was done. MSTR maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, slightly higher than whatever it was in the morning. I got when it was touching 9 to 10%. I'm done with this one. So I think it remains to be seen if this thing can last through Broadcom, Bitcoin as well, right? We'll have to see how that goes. Downtrending 40-day. So that's it. There you go. We're going to have to see if this going to go through to 80. But 80 is my target for Bitcoin eventually. If it doesn't pull back. If it does pull back, you buy it. So if you see Bitcoin, MSTR pull back again, as long as Bitcoin can hold this yellow area of 67, I mean, the best scenario is it holds 70. Okay, it has to do that. I think if it goes back into this pink zone, there's more skepticism. There's going to be more skepticism, but it could survive it. I think it could survive it, with the way things are going with IGV. As long as you watch this and IGV together, as long as they move together up and down nicely, then yeah, pay attention. They correlate well, then that should be fine. You should be fine. But Again, also watch the dollar. So DXY. Watch the DXY. If this thing just starts shooting up again, okay, then we have a problem everywhere. So make sure this thing is weak. So that's what you should watch for. So DXY, the dollar index. Okay, guys, I'll see you around later. Tomorrow, I guess. I don't know if I'll show up after the close unless there's something big that happens overnight tonight. Otherwise, just go watch Dead Man show. So you can watch Mr. Dead Man. I think he's going to cover the Boyd stuff. I don't know who else is going to cover anything tonight. So go to Mr. Deadman's MR Deadman DT. Okay, Mr. Deadman on YouTube. All right, I'll see ya.